your brain, you're in the nerds domain. Come on in, it's about to begin.
Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the Nerds Domain Podcast. This is episode 100, and we are going to talk about podcasting. I'm Matt.
I'm Shirley.
I'm John.
And I'm Jesse.
And this time I hit record. Hooray! Wouldn't be the 100th episode if I didn't screw it up, right?
Time for everything.
Have to start off on the right foot.
So, in this episode, I'm going to talk to Shirley, John, and Jesse about their experiences as podcasters. We're 100 episodes in on this, and then about 80 or so episodes in on our Masks of Nyarlathotep podcast. They've all three had experiences, and I want to touch base with them and see what they've thought so far. So the first thing that we want to ask everybody is, what is the one thing that's really stuck out to you that you've really enjoyed or you've enjoyed experiencing so far?
It feeds my ego. No, really. I mean, people listen to us in Turkey, for God's sake.
This is true. Also in China.
In China.
China. Communists listen to us. Oh, go ahead.
No, that's crazy. We're like infiltrating a communist country.
Yeah, and at that booth that time, that person came by and said she listened to every podcast we'd ever done.
Yeah, which, by the way, you were the only person that met her.
Yeah. What? I've yet to meet a fan. What is this all about?
I know. Did she ask for your autograph?
I'm not 100% sure she didn't just say that, so I would shut up about it, that she could slide on by. But yeah, she came.
Yeah, this was at AwesomeCon on Friday. I had stepped away from the booth for some reason. And I come back and Jesse's like, hey, I met a fan. And I was like, oh,
What?
Great. There's our one fan. So, Shirley, it feeds your ego. You're excited about being listened to in other countries?
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
you like that Swedes sit at home and listen to your dulcimer tones?
Yes. It's very exciting. I think when not after we first met, but a couple of years into our relationship, maybe it was at the beginning, we were listening to the Squirrel Superhero podcast. I don't remember what it's called.
Red Panda.
Yes,
Adventures.
Red Panda.
God.
I was like, oh my gosh, that's so cool, because I love, I used to like getting on Pandora and looking up like the 50s era, 30 or 40s and 50s era radio, not talk shows, but whatever
radio
they were called
plays is what you're looking for?
Huh?
Radio plays.
Radio plays. And when we listened to Red Panda, I was like, oh my gosh, I love this. And then you're like, I think we need to start our own podcast. And I was like, whoa, okay. And like Jesse, I was a little intimidated because being, having your voice heard. And I was like, oh, it can't be that big a deal. We're going to the only people that are going to hear us are us, because we're going to only listen to ourselves. And then
just as a note, I haven't listened to one of our podcasts yet.
You have to.
What?
Nope.
You know what? You have listened to them. You know how I know?
How?
Because
you're listening to it as we record it.
Ah, see, that's the trick.
So you've listened to every single one of them, except for the ones that you weren't here for.
Oh my God! Go ahead.
So, it feeds my ego, but I really, I love being here with you guys. I think this, even though at the beginning it was like, really, you want us to do what? It felt kind of like that. I think after 2 years, it's kind of amazing.
Right on. Jesse, before I hit record,
Yeah.
You were saying something about being intimidated.
I was very intimidated when you first said we were going to be recording, because I'd listened to a lot of podcasts, and it's kind of like watching TV shows and someone just coming up and going, hey, you want to be in a TV show? It's never going to work. But I was equally terrified when we went to the convention and you said, hey, we need people to interview people, and you're going to have to do it. But it's one of the best things I've ever done. It's a great experience. You get to talk to people I never would have talked to before, about things I never would have talked about before.
Right on.
It's like you have skeletons in your closet, dude.
For the record, I did say, I need people to interview, and you went, I guess I could do that. You volunteered yourself.
I don't remember it that way. I think I remember you saying we need at least 4 from everybody. And I might have done it
I
before.
remember that first year.
So Johnny, what are your thoughts?
The greatest find from my podcasting, probably. I mean, those other two, what Jesse and Shirley have talked about, are definite, things that I would second and also say. But for me, it's the creative outlet. I don't, before we started this stuff, like we ran that 4-year-long Dungeons and Dragons campaign over at, various locations.
Yeah. Which part of me wishes we would have recorded because there are some great moments in that.
Right.
But part of me is really glad we didn't because there are some terrible moments in that.
Yeah. So, I was able to get some creativity that way, but that wasn't as fulfilling as the podcasts have been. Well, really the whole site, the writing reviews and recording the podcast, because it gives me a chance to flit around and experience more than I might have found out on my own without the motivation of preparing for the shows. So that's probably my big thing about this whole process.
Well, yeah, I never thought about that. If I didn't have to write reviews for podcasts, I wouldn't have listened to half the podcasts I listen to now all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, there have been a lot. Dan Carlin's Hardcore History, I never would have touched if I wasn't going to review that. And I'm really glad I did. I watched a bunch of movies, but I would have watched those anyway. I wouldn't have downloaded half of the apps I've got.
Right.
I wouldn't have as many games either. I'm really glad that we found such great and gracious people to give us games to review. But I definitely wouldn't have played nearly as many had it not been for that. Touching on what you said, Shirley, our numbers, or at least where we're listened to, I love watching our numbers. Our numbers are small. I know they're small. They're abysmally small compared to other podcasts. But for us, I like knowing, this is the number of people that have listened to this episode or downloaded at least. I like to pretend that everybody that downloads listens to the whole thing. It's not the case. But how do you feel about our growth? You've seen our growth a little bit.
Yeah.
Do you feel like we're doing well?
I kind of base that off of you because I'm not really in it for the gain.
Yeah, fair enough.
So I hear you listen to the numbers, and that's all and well, but I always like to hear about, hey, did some new country, pick us up? Where have we, where can I stick a pin in the map, the global map, and say, we have listeners here and we have listeners here, and I think that's the most exciting part for me. Yeah,
absolutely. Jesse, what do you think about our numbers?
I think they're pretty good. I like hearing about them occasionally. I do wish on the website, and everybody who's listening, please comment on the reviews. I don't care if you say, I hated this review. It's just, at least it means you read it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have one very regular commenter, and we love him. He's great, and I would buy his books if he quit giving them to me for free. But Marion Harmon is fantastic, and we're going to call him out since he's clearly our number one fan.
He's our number one fan.
But he's great. I love comments on the website, not just because it lets us know what we're doing. It lets us know that we're connected with our community, and I like doing that too. So definitely that's great. Johnny, I'm going to ask you about numbers too. So if you have any thoughts, feel free.
I really can't. I mean, again, I just have to parrot, what's been said. I don't know. I don't even know what our numbers are. I've been out of the loop, maybe. I'm not sure where we stand, but like Jesse said, I would really love to get into dialogue with our listeners. We're very, very approachable, and I want to talk to people and hear what they have to say, and maybe improve what we have to say because of their input. So, I invite everyone right now, bombard my Twitter handle, Fool's Math, it's kind of dead right now. I kind of read it every once in a while, and I don't really interact with people. But you're welcome to contact me on Twitter anytime. So
you should especially message him on Twitter in the middle of the night so he gets those going off all the time.
You mean while I'm at work? Because
that's true.
Goof off at work and talk to people on Twitter. That's not a problem.
That's terrifying.
I think that the same goes for me. But because of my work and what I do, and because we have so many varied interests. Like I have, I'm not gonna say a ton of followers on Twitter, but I have a pretty good chunk of followers on Twitter, and I follow like a pretty good chunk of people, and I get messages. And what I found recently, I'm not sure where this has come from, but like game publishers and new game companies have been starting to follow me, which I love because I love scouting for new stuff. I'm very much the go out and find new things. Way back on MySpace, when MySpace was around, I had a production company, and what I would do is not a production company, but what I would do is I would go out and I would scout out new music on MySpace, and who I was writing for at the time, I would get their name out there. And I love finding that new game company that has that one game that's getting ready to go up, and they have a Kickstarter, and we're able to interview them for that, and get the word out for them to help build what they want to get out there, the love of what they're doing, especially with the games or whatever passion they have. So
yeah.
That kind of tumbled into like 3 different.
No, that's fine. So we've recorded 100 episodes. I know you guys haven't been on all of them because some of those are Kickstarter episodes. But between this podcast and Masks, is there a moment that stands out to you? That moment where, I don't know, Johnny beat to death some dudes with a chair, or
that was amazing.
Anything like that? Is there a specific episode or a movie that sticks out? And let's not beat the dead horse if Dillinger's dead, because that was a terrible movie, Jesse.
Yeah, we're looking for positive.
Yeah, we're looking for positive stuff.
So I also have to stay away from Pacific Rim.
Yes, no Pacific Rim.
But is there anything that sticks out that you were like, man, I'm really glad we got to do that?
God, I would have to say like Call of Cthulhu definitely would have to be one of my favorite, because I'm a Scorpio, so I'm a very emotional, type of person. Plus I'm a woman, so whatever stereotypes you can throw in there. But man, Botticello's death, like really, like that stands out to me in all of the podcast recording that we've done. And I definitely like the RPGs. Okay. Like that's my top. We just got done with I don't know, is Achtung Cthulhu up? The one we did with Scott?
That's not Achtung Cthulhu, that's a side quest. It is not up yet, but it will be up shortly. We did that. Scott ran us through a side quest that was World War II.
Yeah.
Inspired.
And I really love that. I really love the ability to tap into the different aspects of my personalities and be able to pull those out into the characters of the different games that we play.
Yeah. Jesse, anything stands out to you?
I can honestly say I would not have watched the Lego Movie if it wasn't for this podcast. And I did enjoy it. It's not even the fact that I wouldn't watch it at the theaters. I would have completely not watched it. I mean, it is easily in my top 15 movies ever.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So, yeah, I'm definitely glad for that. And then, like Shirley said, the Cthulhu podcast has been a good experience all around.
And just so you know, Botticello's death did not nearly affect me as much as the insanity I caused on 2 other players, but only because Jesse made a beat stick character in a game that beat stick characters get murdered in. So
I didn't expect to make it that long. I really didn't.
Yeah. Well, bad rolls on my end.
I don't think any of us did.
Johnny, anything that sticks out to you?
I was going to say the side quests have been my favorite. Not to harp on anything because we don't want negative, but the long Call of Cthulhu game has never been my favorite so when we get to make breaks into the side quests and explore other ways of playing the game, or other people's ideas about the game, it's a lot of fun for me. I love doing my side quest, which you titled Graceful Tiger, which is fine. I'm just saying that's what Matt came up with the title, because it was the name of the spaceship that I let him pilot, captain and pilot. So
I was the captain.
You were the captain.
Nice.
Yes. So that was fun. I regret that I didn't get to play in Scott's game. The Halloween episode that Shirley ran, and then George's episodes were really fun for me. So those have been great.
Honestly, Max Grodenchik is my
I forgot.
which I know you guys didn't get to experience that, but that interview with Max Grodenchik was the highlight of this entire experience. If everything fell apart right now, I would still feel like I accomplished something. He was so nice, and when I asked him for a bumper after I explained to him what it was, he was very happy to do it. Made us do 2 takes so he got it right. Super professional, super friendly.
I think he's one of the nicest celebrities that we've met.
Yeah,
so
and
far.
Candace McClure was great too, and I was very happy to meet her. But she still had a very professional vibe, which she should have. She was working, but Max was just like, "Hey, this is the end of the con, and I'm just here to relax. And what are we doing?"
He wanted to keep talking.
Yeah.
He was like, "That's it. That's the end.
I felt bad because
more?
I didn't want to keep him from anything since he had to fly back to Austria. But yeah, he was so fantastic.
Yeah.
And I was very happy to have him, and it's stuff like that makes me glad we get to do this. Same thing talking to Cubicle 7 about their Kickstarter a year ago. That was great. I really enjoyed them. I got to talk to the guys down at Greater Than Games who make the Sentinels of the Multiverse. I was very happy to talk to them because I'm a big fan of their stuff. So I guess getting to talk to the people I'm fans of their stuff about. I know we have.
About that. Yeah.
Well, and I know we have an open invitation from Professor Elemental and Scott Kurtz to have them on the podcast at any time. So
I'm excited about Professor Elemental.
Yeah, I don't know what to do with those, so we haven't scheduled them yet. It's kind of it's intimidating, but it's a great kind of intimidation.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think that is definitely one of the things that. I mean, we would never have met half the people that we've met had we not started this.
I not only got to talk to Christian Narn, but I got to put an easel together for him to get a bumper.
There you go.
3 years of art school paid off.
Oh my gosh! Oh, $80,000 debt and 3 years of art school. All talk to Christian Narn.
Easel together.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I don't know. I think that not that it specifically has to do with the podcast or the website, but the Great Gatsby and the Great Race was a good one for us, and I think it's going to lead us in better directions too.
Yeah, and the thing is, because we're so varied and we're not just sticking to one niche, it's opening up a lot of avenues for us. Like, had we not done Call of Cthulhu, we wouldn't be opening up the avenue to go to the steampunk.
That's correct.
Symposiums.
Yeah.
So, and being able to run those games. And I think, the way that we keep the podcast and the way that we talk to the audience and keeping it family friendly, it also allows us to be out there more and people find us more approachable.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So.
We talked about kind of our favorite things. Is there a process you guys like, or is there a type of show you guys like? I guess is a better question. Do you prefer the Criterion Collection? Do you prefer immediate movie reviews? I do interviews, so I that's a thing for me. But I know, Johnny, you listen to a lot of our episodes.
Yeah.
I don't know if that matters to you. The immediate movie reviews, or not the What You Doing, or just the Cthulhu podcast, which we should probably skip since all three of you have said that you really enjoy it. Is there anything specific, any kind of show that you really wish we would do more of or do more frequently?
Well, I'm hung up on two of them. I really like the Criterion Collection because it's got me looking at movies in a different way. I've kind of turned critical on everything I watch, and I enjoy that aspect. I feel as if I'm getting the subtleness of the stories and what they're trying to say a little bit better than I used to.
Yeah, I have to agree with Jesse right there. That's definitely something that's been enjoyable. It's just hard to get that going all the time. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that we walked out of I, Frankenstein also almost a year ago, and Shirley went, "Yeah, the Criterion Collection has ruined me for dumb movies."
Oh yeah, like the Criterion Collection and Zach on Film.
Mm-hmm.
Like I started listening to his podcast and loved his podcast, but then I had to stop because of the way that I felt like the way that they were critiquing films was putting a different spin on how I watched and saw and gave my feedback on the movies and shows that we watched. And I was like, I don't want to pick all those things out. I want to go and be emotionally immersed in a movie and then be able to come out and say, yeah, that, you know, there's this point and this point, and that's why I loved it. And I think, like everybody else, that's why I like the Criterion Collection, because it's opened up. I would not have watched any of the movies that we watched over the past year if we hadn't started this podcast.
Yeah.
The Criterion Collection podcast.
Yeah. So Johnny, are you on the same page? Is the Criterion Collection? Is that the show type you like the most?
I have a hard time choosing. And quickly rambling through all of the shows we do. I like the What You Doings because we get to talk about the things that we're into right now and potentially spread the word about them. Because I listen all the time where other shows where people are reviewing things and they're like, I've never heard of that. And, so the idea that maybe I'm turning somebody on to something new that I love that they've never seen, regardless of its age, is great. I love Call of Cthulhu because I love gaming. And I never got to participate in, or maybe once or twice, in an immediate movie review, again, because of my work schedule. But yeah, the watching the Criterion Collection, because from the initial onset of we are uneducated about filmmaking, and these are supposed to be great films. What is our opinion?
Yeah.
That was those are the reasons I love all of our podcasts. Picking which one I enjoy the most, I really can't do because, as I said earlier, doing these podcasts gives me a creative outlet that I didn't have before, of varied types. So they each have their specific draws to them, and Shirley, I don't think you should stop listening to Zach on Film because it's changing the way you review movies. I think that's a good thing,
I agree.
Yeah.
I think it is too.
But if you are losing your ability to enjoy the dumb movies for their dumbness, you need to adjust that, because I still can shut off and watch a movie like Pacific Rim that does lack a certain amount of plot. I'll give Jesse that point, that it does lack a certain amount of plot that you kind of expect from a Guillermo del Toro movie, but I still love to watch giant robots and monsters kicking each other's butts.
Yeah, I Frankenstein was just so abysmal. I think it just stood out so, like, the writing was bad and the pacing was bad, and there were questions about why. Like, at least in Pacific Rim, why are there giant mechs? Because they're giant monsters.
And it makes more sense than a giant wall that they can just walk through.
Yeah, and it was Shirley's question is, when did he learn judo? I don't have an answer for that. Like, he was in the middle of nowhere in the mountains by himself with no one. Where did he learn judo? Yeah, in I, Frankenstein. We can't answer that question. Why did he learn to fight? How did he learn to fight with these sticks? That's a solid question. I don't have an answer there.
See, I kind of want the movie to show up on Netflix or something along with After Earth, because I don't want to particularly pay to see these bad movies, but I want to be able to say that I've seen them.
I kind of liked After Earth. It wasn't what I thought it would be, but that would be because I went into it to be trash.
Yes, we did see After Earth at the drive-in. It was so unrememberable. I don't think it was a bad movie, but there were some issues that I had, and I just didn't care for it.
I seriously don't remember watching that at all. Like, I don't remember the beginning, end, or anything.
But
wow.
Just as the Criterion Collection and Zachlin Films makes you see the bad stuff in films more frequently, it makes you see the good stuff also.
Oh, yeah,
I talked in the other podcast about Dumb and Dumber 2, and I enjoyed it more going at it from having a little understanding of classical films, because it riffs on that pretty heavily, and it would have went right over my head.
Right.
Johnny, just so you know, at this point in time, you can watch I, Frankenstein on Netflix.
It's on there?
It is.
Oh, wow.
One of my friends posted that they were going to watch it today. You remember Eric from the D&D game down at Doug's?
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, you're wasting your time, and he responded back like an hour and a half later, yeah, I totally wasted my time. So,
well, I got to see it just so I can understand your opinion. Like, I'm sure you're right. I'm not saying you're wrong, but I got to see it. I got to see the train wreck.
Not to completely derail the topic.
Because we never do that.
But the best part about the film is the fact that they're two very secret organizations, and when one of them dies, it creates a giant beam of light.
Yeah, it's a super secret war. Okay, I'm with you. And when we die, it lights up all of downtown Manhattan. I'm no longer with you here. So, if looking at our podcast, if there was a topic we could cover, and I know we've done this and we do this on a regular basis where we talk about stuff, but if there's a topic we could cover, what would you guys want to touch base on?
YouTube channels.
YouTube channels, okay. Anything in specific, or just like finding new ones?
Just finding new ones, telling people which ones are good to watch. Just YouTube channels.
That is not a bad idea. I don't have the time for it, but I like the concept.
I've learned that I don't have the time for YouTube, because by the time I'm done with YouTube, I've gone way, way, way far off from where I started.
Yeah.
I watch occasional Minecraft shows on YouTube, and then end up somewhere weird. Or I start on kitten videos, ended up somewhere weird. And not weird in a bad way, but like, how did I go from... I know I started on kitten videos and ended up on acapella singers one day, and I love acapella singers, and I favorited a bunch of their channels, and I'm like, but how did I get there? I don't know. So, what do you think, Shirley? Anything you'd like us to cover?
Oh, wow. I mean, like, there's so much out there that we don't do that I like. Like, I would love to integrate music into our site somehow.
Yeah, yeah.
But, I also realize that we've pretty much cut out our niche and what kind of demographic we want to hit. And we have so much on our plate and so much opening up in 2015 that, as much as I love music, I don't want another thing to write about extra.
And not that you couldn't, but I know I can't talk in an informed manner about music. I really can't.
Yeah.
I don't know about Johnny or Jesse. I know Johnny has a love of music. I just don't know how deep it is.
Right. Yeah. No.
Jesse,
I feel like I could if I had the. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I feel like I could if I had the time to listen to it and ingest it and everything, but if I do that, I have to sacrifice podcasts,
right?
And so where do we draw the line? And
right,
it's I like I said, I would love to have room to grow. I think we have room to grow, and that's a topic that is totally tangential to our wheelhouse and could be incorporated, but it's a matter of finding the space.
Yeah, and I'm sure no one's gonna want to listen to me monologue for however long about different music genres and how this one artist has this type of hook and how it makes, their group great or whatever.
Yeah. Jesse, what were you going to say?
I find it interesting. I have no idea.
Okay.
Well, so I would just say on that, like if you had the time, Shirley, you could do your own show about that,
Yeah.
and I would listen. Because I think that's a great topic. It's just, I don't think that's a topic we could fit into our What
Well,
You
that's
Doing.
an idea.
I would listen, but I don't think it can be crammed into What You're Doing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We could
no,
say,
no, no.
hey, this band dropped a new album and they're great. Go check them out, and that'd be the, But to do a whole show like the whole show of what you were talking about, and then maybe getting the rights to play the music or at least snippets of it,
Yeah.
I'd be in. I'd be down for that. But who has the time?
Yeah. Brian
exactly.
Ibbett has the time.
Well, yeah,
And he
because
does.
he made the time. He's been doing it for a decade. So
Yeah, yeah. Johnny, is there a type of a show that you wanted to see?
well, we talked about it in one of our recent episodes. I forget how long ago that was, where my idea of just doing short, one-shot role-playing games to explore the various genres of role-playing game would be what I would want to do if I had all the time and money in the world to dedicate to this podcasting. And we talked about maybe the possibility of that coming around.
That is actually on the table for 2015.
Right.
It's just not slotted exactly where it's going to go yet.
Yeah, so that was the type of show I wanted to do from the get-go. But it wasn't everybody's favorite concept of show, so we went with a different direction, and I'm fine with that. It's just you said, what would I do? That is what I would do.
That's fair. That's fair.
Role-playing games are my breath, my life right now. It's if I can spend 10 minutes doing that, doing anything, it'll be reading about or thinking about role-playing games. So I'm weird that way.
Okay. So we've interviewed a few people, big-ish names. I would say C-list celebrities, Christian Yarn and Max and Candace McClure. Is there anyone?
They're A-list in our books.
They're A-list in our books. That's right. Are there any celebrities or media or companies that you would like to see us interview and talk to?
Alan Tudyk.
Alan Tudyk. Okay.
That'd be a great fun. That'd be a great grab.
All right.
Anybody from the Serenity Firefly, show, that would be fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kevin Sorbo.
Jesse, any?
Kevin Sorbo.
Kevin Sorbo?
You
No.
have seen
He's
that.
very
That was
willing to do a bumper.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't agree with Kevin Sorbo's politics, so he kind of ruined himself for me this year. So
But politics is politics and acting's acting. He's still a good actor.
yeah, but I don't want to talk to him anymore. So
Fair enough. Anything that we've touched base on games or anything, I don't know, any game company that you're really happy we touched base on or wish we would have?
too many options. I can't
Yeah.
specifically say. I mean, that's all. Like, is there just the all check all?
Can I check the all box?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's me. Because again, that's what I want to do right now.
Flying Frog.
You like Flying
Flying
Frog?
Frog Productions.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, there's a group I plan on talking to at Gen Con next year, assuming they're there and I can find them. I reviewed a game that we got a thing from last Gen Con called Archetype,
Mm-hmm.
and it is
Oh, yeah.
one of the best board games I've ever played. Flat out.
Yeah.
It's great strategy. It felt like the game was going to be over in a matter of seconds. It took about an hour and a half.
Is
Yeah.
that the Japanese anime
It
one?
is, and the artwork's definitely not for
Oh.
everybody. But
Yeah.
if you can get past the artwork, the gameplay is phenomenal. And to be honest,
I think that was a Japanese style game put out by a French company.
it was,
too.
Yeah.
and it was imported. And the only website they have to it is fully in Japanese.
Oh.
Their Facebook page has like no contact information. I mean, the place is just gone. I can't contact them.
I have their contact information, actually.
Yeah.
I can send that to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they're there, I'm definitely planning on talking to them.
Right on.
Who did Student Bodies?
The Smirk and Dagger.
Smirk and Dagger.
Yeah, we love Smirk and Dagger. They've been really good to us too.
They have been.
Honestly, Scott Kurtz and Professor Elemental, not necessarily gaming contacts, although I would say Scott Kurtz is kind of in that wheelhouse a little bit. But those are the two guys I would really love to have on the podcast and talk to them. But beyond them, if one day we go to a convention and I could talk to Patrick Stewart, I would probably hang up my interview hat right after that.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. That would be amazing.
So conventions, we'll talk about those because we keep talking about them on kind of as a side thing. We've got a bunch of conventions kind of attending this year. We have 2 we're setting up at. Are there any conventions, any bigger name conventions you'd like to see us go to and participate at?
I don't know any.
Dragon Con, PAX, C2E2, South by Southwest.
Like I saw on my Twitter last year, I saw a ton of stuff about PAX. It looks kind of interesting.
Okay.
There are 3 conventions I would really like to go to, and that is PAX.
Which one? There are 3 of them now.
The one in Washington, the original one.
Okay.
To be honest, though, I'd be happy with any of them.
I'd love to go to Australia.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess there's 4 then, because there's also a PAX South in Texas now.
But, yeah. E3. A big gaming convention. Electronic gaming. And BlizzCon.
Okay.
Oh, what is the one over in Europe?
Ooh.
Oh,
The huge one.
German words.
Hexen. No, that's not it.
Oh,
That's just spelled to sorry.
Essen.
Essen, is that it?
Essen.
You sure?
Essen.
Maybe?
Yeah.
Maybe.
It's ESSN.
Yeah.
ESSN.
I don't know. There's the big gaming convention over in Germany that I can't think of the name of. Spiel.
Oh, it is Spiel?
Essen Spiel. I don't know. It's something.
That's close.
Haha. We pieced it together after 5 minutes. We're really into games, guys. I promise. Okay, yeah, I would love to go to Germany for that.
Amazing.
I really kind of wish we lived like in or around London because they have like gaming conventions. They're smaller, but they have gaming convention after gaming convention after gaming convention. So that would be kind of cool. John, is there anything specific you want to go to?
No, not really. I mean, because again, gaming conventions are always fun. C2E2 has been on my radar for the past couple of years. I mentioned to you that one in Jersey that's all about game developing. Drawing a blank on its name because you're asking me about it.
Of course.
that would just come up in conversation. Normally, it wouldn't have been a problem. But yeah, any gaming convention would be on my radar. But I love comic books, technology. Video games aren't a huge part of my life, but I still like to look at them and see how pretty they're getting. So, PAX would be interesting.
Honestly, I want to head back out to Nerdtacular. I think there's a lot of good contacts out there. I wish you guys would go with us if you get the chance.
Yeah.
Being around, Johnny, for you, being around other artists like that I think is only helpful. And Jesse, if there's weird people out there, you'll fit right in.
Yeah, there's this creek that flows right behind it that'd be interested in painting in.
What now?
What?
Oh,
You
yeah.
cannot stand in that creek.
No, he can.
No.
You can climb down there. No, I'm totally.
There's
and that's up in the
all the way around.
And that's up in the mountains, so there's got to be more chance for gold, right?
Trust me, I've climbed fences before.
Oh my gosh.
But that one and Dragon Con, I keep getting told Dragon Con.
Yeah, but that's in Atlanta, and it's during the hot season, and
it's true.
During the hot season.
Yeah. And South by Southwest, honestly, anything that Brian Brushwood and Justin Robert Young are going to be at, I wouldn't mind going because the two of them, listening to them talk about podcasting is just inspiring.
Is that SXSW?
What?
SXSW?
Yeah, South by Southwest.
Yeah.
Or South by So Wasted.
South by So Wasted.
Yeah, because it's a drinking con. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, I said drinking, and just Jesse said.
You don't even drink, dude.
Yeah, he does.
Oh, I do.
We've offered him.
I don't like beer.
yeah, that's been we've been doing this for 100 episodes.
Yeah.
We're gearing up for the wow. Go Fund This podcast.
Yeah.
That's in its slow rise. Gaming with Scott comes out. Johnny, is Gaming with Scott something you're looking forward to listening to?
I very much am. Again, sad I can't participate. Hopefully that'll change. But yeah, Scott's got some. Well, I mean, Scott's a great inspiration when it comes to gaming. Got a lot of good insights and things to say. So it'll be fun to hear what he has to put out there.
Right on.
I just thought of something, like, had we not gotten into this, I don't think we would have met Matthew Sanderson.
That's true. Our Gatsby and the Great Race.
Yeah.
We were at Gen Con 2013, and I found the flyer for Good Friends of Jackson Elias,
Yeah.
which I picked up on because we were doing the Masks of Nyarlathotep, and that's the pivotal character there in the beginning was Jackson Elias.
Yeah.
And had it not been for that, we wouldn't have. I don't think we wouldn't have met Matthew. We wouldn't have run Gatsby.
Right.
I wouldn't have probably gone to Gen Con every year because there was a couple of years that I just didn't really care. So
Yeah.
all right, that'll do us tonight for the Nerds Domain podcast. This has been 100 episodes of greatness. We're really, really happy to have done it. You can, as always, find us over on our website at nerdsdom.com. You can head over to patreon.com/nerdsdomain, and you can check that out and support us there. You can find us on Facebook and Twitter at facebook.com/nerdsdomain and at nerdsdomain on Twitter. And you can head over to /loot and buy our shirts there. And we will talk to you guys real soon.
This has been a production of the Omega Nerds Network, the network where it's on.